Felicia, stand right there.
Gonna make a change for what's in my life. It's gonna feel real good. Gonna make it different. Woo! Gonna make it right.
This is stage 1 of American Idol, where we have Felicia Morris
Turn up the
from New York, Brooklyn.
My favorite.
Let's do the night. Singing Man in the Mirror by Michael Jackson. It's blowing her mind.
Well, now enough to
She's starting with the woman in the mirror.
I to be blind, pretending not to see their needs.
Go, girl.
Summer's disregard.
Disregard.
A broken bottle.
Bottle top.
One let's go.
They follow each other on the picture nose.
Go down. And she
Cause
goes,
they have nowhere to go.
That's why I want you to know.
she went home?
With the woman in the mirror.
Acting just sometime this way.
What you want?
I need to go back to the
They're gonna kiss.
And if you want to make
You
it
said
work,
we could
go
take a
back to
picture.
the place, take a look at yourself, and then make a
Wait, did I say that
change. Na 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 na.
You have been disqualified.
Oh,
Say
man.
that on the camera.
That's the point of it.
He's on the camera.
Oh.
You gotta do that again. You're doing that again.
Why?
She wanna be an idiot.
How do you stop
On the camera.
it?